All right. So welcome. So today we're going to continue with the Quantum Leaps by Pritchett. I'm on page 3, and the previous videos are somewhere on this channel, somewhere here. And let's see what this quantum leap's all about, because right in the content and what he's sharing with us, like the first was, the promise, and then now it's quantum leaps. But before the promise, we talked about the story of the fly. How the fly, if it had taken just 10 seconds and flew the other way, she would have escaped. But instead, she died on what? On the window, right? Then we talked about the promise. Are you ready for this? Are you ready to become, U squared, whatever that really means? How could someone become U squared? Like, you know what 2 squared is, you know what 10 squared is, but what is U squared? How much intelligence do you have? So it's kind of interesting and really, really cool, big words. But the idea is to understand this material and implement it based on what it says and see yourself as part of something bigger. So let's take a look at Quantum Leap. And it's, right here. So here we go. Quantum leaps. To put it simply, as human beings, we are going to have to reframe our ideas about the universe and how we fit into it. And that's a big question. Like, if you start asking where you are, where you're going, who am I, why are you here? This kind of line makes sense to ponder on. To put it simply, as human beings, we are going to have to reframe our ideas about the universe and how we fit into it. Because, if you think of, we're living this on this physical plane, and there's spirit up there, and that's how you become more aware, and we're having this human experience. Now, he says quantum leap is a term taken from the vocabulary of quantum physics, the science behind such technological breakthroughs as lasers, computers, space communication, and nuclear energy. Quantum physics is described as the most powerful science ever conceived by human beings. It requires a major rethinking of such concepts as time and space and how human consciousness operates. Right away, even me as an engineer by degree, and you think quantum physics, you're like, wow, that's complicated. Whoever knows that is really smart. Well, we don't need to know it at that atomic physics level. You just have to know that there is a principle, there is such a thing, it is very powerful, and you can just direct your thinking to go that way, okay? So here it goes. Quantum physics has also staggering implications regarding you, your potential, and the power of your mind. To put it simply, as human beings, we are going to have to reframe our ideas about the universe and how we fit into it. This is the same line as we read on the previous page, under that title. Fred Alan Wolf, in his award-winning book titled Taking the Quantum Leap, describes the term as, talking about the term quantum leap. What's this quantum leap? The explosive jump that a particle of matter undergoes in moving from one place to another. In a figurative sense, taking the quantum leap means taking a risk, going off into an uncharted territory with no guide to follow. So most of us, as we're driving, right, we need to know just a few feet ahead of us. But yet we know we want to get to that destination, that next level, that next goal, that bigger medal, that bigger achievement, that bigger job, right? Well, we want this quantum leap. How do we get there? We're used to the education system and the school grading system, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But here he's talking about a quantum leap. That's a big jump. The explosive jump that a particle of matter undergoes in moving from one place to another. In a figurative sense, taking the quantum leap means taking a risk, going off into uncharted territory with no guide to follow. No guide to follow. How is that? Are we supposed to be following somebody? Does that mean you need to follow yourself and trust yourself that much more? So then he goes, physicists studying quantum mechanics note that particles make these jumps without apparent effort and without covering all the bases between the starting and the ending points. So if you remember when you studied physics, if you go back to elementary, high school, and middle school, you remember these little particles moving around, and they have different orbits. That's what we're talking about, jumping these orbits from one level to the other. Now, you don't need to remember all the atomic weights and molecular weights and all that. Leave that to the chemists and the physicists. But that's what we're talking about, jumping an orbit. Physicists studying quantum mechanics note that particles make these jumps without apparent effort and without covering all the bases between the starting and ending points. What's going on here? How does this happen? And is it possible for you as an individual to do something very similar in your personal performance? That's the question that we're going to wonder. Is it possible for you as an individual to do something very similar in your personal performance? The same thing applies for me. Well, let's think of an example, for example, water, right? If you have a cup of water, and if you boil the water, right, it's going to change form. And these particles of water will change form from liquid to vapor, and then eventually it goes into the ether. So they're changing by just changing their position. And that's what he's talking about in this performance, in elite performance. It's not next level performance. What's going on here? How does this happen? Is it possible for you as an individual to do something very similar in your personal performance? So what happens? As soon as somebody starts thinking like this, right away, you'll start thinking, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Right? You start asking these questions of the how. I want you to let go of the how for now. Don't worry about the how. The how is going to come. The process is going to come to you as to how you're going to get better. See, if you already know how, you would have done it. So I want you just to be patient, be patient on yourself, right? There's two things that I want you to do. Just listen to the material, understand it, listen to it a few times, and start building that self-confidence that you want to have. I have here in front of me a piece of paper on self-confidence that if you want it, I can share that with you. This is something that I read and study every day, do it in the morning, do it at night, and even do it in front of the mirror to build that confidence, build that next level focus that I'm working on, because that's all we're doing. We're just getting better and better and better. And then instill some discipline that you're going to do this on a daily basis. And then the best definition of discipline that I've heard goes like this. It's the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. Discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. And I think it was Earl Nightingale who said that, or maybe somebody told him that, and that's who I heard it from. So don't think of discipline as something hard or something harsh. Don't get upset that you're not meeting that goal or that next level. So be passionate that you want to get there, but don't give yourself a hard time, right? So let's get you onto this self-confidence formula. And if you want it, I can share it with you. And let's get you to put some discipline into something and put some effort towards something that you've never had before, something that you really, really want to do. So it could be something as you are going to read something from a book like this, every day, one little few pages, 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 10 pages, as many pages as you want, right? But the key is making up your mind and saying, I'm going to do this. You make up your mind and then you do it. Most people cannot do that. Most people cannot build the habits. Even me today, I was on day 3 of actually reading 1 chapter a day. I hesitated. It's one of those things where we once we commit to something, we got to do it, and you got to put yourself on that hook. Systematic study, elite level mentorship, and accountability, and that's how the system is built. So I'll leave you with that for tonight. Think about this quantum leap. Start imagining where is it that you want to go. And if you want this self-confidence formula, let me know. Reach out and I'll send it to you. And if you think of what's that one thing that you're going to commit to. Don't commit to it yet. Just start thinking about it. What's the one thing that you want to commit to? And we're going to go over it, and build this habitual behavior to stick with it. Stick with it every day. All right. And with that, thanks again. Talk to you soon. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And if you liked it, invite a friend, share it with somebody. And I look forward to speaking with you. Talk soon. Bye.